Hey guys, how's it going? Marvin D'Souza here again. And continuing that Microsoft Zero Trust Solution series, we're looking at privileged identity management here. So one of the things here is, what we want to cover here today is use least privilege access. One of these principles we talked about in some of the other videos. And what really this means is a user does, even though they are an administrator for an organization, does not need to be logged onto the desktop with administrative privileges all the time. Even if you hire contractors to do a certain job, and that could be some sort of change control or a migration, they don't need to be administrators 24/7. They only need to be administrators while they're performing those changes or upgrading your systems, things like that. This prevents those lateral movement problems that we're seeing now with the SolarWinds issue and other SolarGate things. Like, it just prevents those escalation of privileges and lateral movement if your users are just simple users 90% of the time, and only when they need just-in-time access and just enough access to get their job done. So when you look at it from this perspective, when you have administrators all over your organization to do different things, manage different resources, and they're running those privileges as administrators all the time, and it could even be for scripts, right? So if you have like a service account that runs a PowerShell script every now and then, and you have a standing or a permanent privilege for that service account, it could be a big problem. With privileged identity management, we take away all those issues, right? So we basically have multiple ways you can actually have gates where people have to ask for an activation of a privileged account, and then it can be approved, or you can say, well, for these accounts or these privileges, I don't need approval. So let's look at a demo and go from there. So for the demo, we're going to work with a user named Christy Klein. What we want to do or simulate is Christy Klein is an administrator, and we want to give her cloud app security privileges to administer. So when I go to portal.cloud app security, and if I log in as administrator, I'll just log off and then log back on. So let me just log off here. Go log in as administrator, sign out. Okay, so now let me close this window, open up a new one. And let's go back in there. Cloud app security. And let's log in as Christy Klein. Put in our password. Let's wait for our multi-factor authentication to get a code. Okay, verify. And you see we don't have access, and that's what we wanted to see. So Christy Klein does not have current access. So let's log out. All right. So to give her access, privileged access, right, as a cloud admin, cloud app security administrator, let's go to your Azure Active Directory Admin Center. Go to Azure Active Directory, click on Identity Governance. This is where you'll manage it from. And then click on Azure AD Roles. And within Azure AD Roles, click on Roles again. And what you'll see here is all the different roles. These are the built-in roles for your domain or for your tenant. What we're going to do is click on Compliance Administrator. This is one of the roles that has read access to the Cloud App Security portal. So we will add an assignment to Christy Klein. Here's Christy Klein here. Select. And so you'll see here, when we go next, we'll see the settings. So here basically you have the settings of either this is eligible, she's eligible for this, or it's active already. If you choose active, then it means she's automatically active. And is permanently eligible means like she's always eligible as this user, or we want to say she's a contractor or for the period or the time of this project. The assignment starts in 2021 and ends in 2022, but we say, you know what, it's going to end in 3 months. This is how long we've contracted her for, so we're going to change this just to March. So we're even limiting the time that she's eligible to make any of these changes or be the admin. So you see here we can be very granular or very detailed as to how much permission or who's getting these permissions. This really comes in handy for contractors, or if you're hiring like a partner to do the work for you. Hit assign, and here it's basically assigning the role, and now Christy Klein has the ability to activate or get that working. So let's log in from another machine as Christy Klein. I'll pull in another browser. Hold on a second. This is another VM I have running. Let's click on this. And same thing, you go to your Active Directory. Since I clicked on roles, it was there already. Click on Identity Governance. And then under Identity Governance, click on Azure AD Roles, and then here you can click on My Roles, and then so you'll see everything that she is eligible for. So she can activate any of these roles. The one we want to do today, or right now in this lab, is Compliance Administrator. So when she clicks on the Compliance Administrator, she'll have a number of things she can add. So she can say, you know what, this project is going to take, you know, only 4 hours, 3 hours. Here default is 8 hours. We'll leave that in there. Her ticketing system, we can say, is Dynamics, and then ticket number is 1, 2, 3, 4. Reason, need to make changes or need to check the policy and audit the reports. So you can get it, you know, she can put as much information as she wants in there. This information will be read by the approver. And I'll go into details on how we can actually set all that up. So click Activate. And now when she clicks Activate here, your request is pending approval. So if she goes here and she looks at active assignments, it'll say here, like, it's, you know, when it gets activated, it'll come in here. And, you know, here when she refreshes this, it'll just basically be like she can do this. So let's go back into Azure Active Directory. Yeah, we could have just gone back one, but Identity Governance, Azure Roles, and then Approve Requests. So here you'll see that Christy Klein's request has just come in at this time. It's Dynamics. This is the ticket number. And you click on this, and then we can hit Approve, Deny, or Refresh. So if she's making any changes, if we want to see any more people coming in, so hit Approve. When you hit Approve, you're going to be asked to make a justification. Again, this is all for that audit trail. So if an approver approves something without the right information in here, you know, we can go back and retrain the approver. So here you can say change control approved. Okay, and then you get a checkbox and you hit confirm. So once you hit confirm, it basically says Christy Klein is confirmed. So we go back to the machine where Christy Klein was, in active assignments, hit refresh, and then we see here that the compliance administrator role that we created for Christy Klein has been activated. So now let's log back into Cloud Administrator as we had done earlier, but we got the error message that she couldn't log in. So let's try that again now that we've given her privileges. Portal.cloud. And now Christy Klein has access where she previously was not given access. So she has access, and she can go and check the policies. She has read access. She can go and look at everything, and so that's how you can create privilege access management. And another cool thing is let's sign out of this. I'll show you this. This is really cool too. So sign out, close this browser, and then she goes here and she deactivates. So she finishes her work. Let's imagine she goes in, she makes all the changes that she needs to, and then again we're tracking all the information, right? So if you go in, she deactivates and she says, you know what, I'm done. I made the change. We're good to go. Again, this is a very good security hygiene practice where as users finish their work or their privileged escalation tasks, they can automatically just sign out. So here, let's go back to roles. We'll look at the audit logs in a second, but what I want to do is log back in here as Christy Klein. Log in as Christy, put in her password. Code is 3. Okay. And you see immediately is blocking her access and saying like, hey, we recognize who you are. You just don't have the right roles to have access to this. So how did we create all that? Is really simple. So what we did earlier, but you can actually get very granular in these roles, right? So any role that you choose within Azure Active Directory, let's say authentication administrator, you want to assign a role, and what we did, you choose a user, you add the user, but here, these are these settings here that you can get very granular on as well. So the activation hours, and you know what, just for continuity, let's go look at the compliance administrator role that we just worked on for Christy. So let's look at settings. In here, let's edit this. So under settings, you can say required justification. This is where we were getting that activation requirement, the ticket information, and require approval to activate. If you say no require of approval to activate, then the user automatically hits activate, gets permission, or gets escalated privileges. They can continue their tasks and they can go on with their day, finish their work. Assignment here is basically where you say, how you want this assignment to work. Is it eligible for a whole year? Permanent active. And so if you have like a situation where you're like, I don't want to have people given permanent assignments, then you can just uncheck that box. Requires Azure multi-factor authentication. Now, if they're signing in from a compliant machine, they're signing in and already getting MFA, the MFA token stays in place, so they won't get asked that MFA token again and again. That's just for a better customer experience. And then here's the notification. This is who all gets notified. So if you put in people's email address and say, you know what, I want this Alex to be notified every time she does something, or asks for identity privilege escalation, and that's basically how it works. So and then you hit update and wait for that to be updated, and then you're good to go. So another thing I wanted to show you guys real quick was you can also set up access reviews, and these are ones that was set up earlier, so you can actually, these are like reports you can set up and say like, who's doing what, and what has been taking place in my organization. You can obviously alert, and you can review access. So there's lots of overview and monitoring as well that you can actually get information on. So you can say like, okay, who has been accessing and who's been doing what in the organization. And then here there's some discovery and insights. This is like a preview. This is not really released yet, but Again, I hope you guys found this information helpful, and thanks for watching.